We are on the road to Yeet Lemania. Yeet Lemania.
I think we're going with Yeetlemania, like Beatlemania.
Oh, Beatlemania. That's what you're going for.
Yeetlemania. This was my pitch.
Yeetlemania.
This was my pitch at the start of the Rumble stream yesterday. Was let's go to Yeetlemania.
Yeetlemania is invading the United States in the 1960s. Started on the Ed Sullivan Show, famous broadcast, and then he won the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, in a, I would say, very surprising victory.
Yes, we'll get on to that. I'm Ollie Davis. I'm joined by Luke Owen, DAD, and of course your Jam That Champion, but maybe not by the end of this stream, because not only is this the Royal Rumble review podcast here on the WrestleTalk podcast, it is also pay-per-view, because we will be having a penalty paper shootout from across that room over there. It's going to be very lo-fi. There's no other cameras to cut to. There's not going to be a little stats bar at the bottom of the page. It's just two guys, a bit of paper, and a tub.
What I might do is I might go live on Instagram with another, like from another angle, perhaps, so we can get sort of like a good, we can get a bin view. So you can head on over to Instagram /this is Luke Owen.
It's kind of like I Show Speed. He's streaming at the event.
Yeah, and then so all of a sudden you got to defend the championship.
If you haven't already, please press the thumbs up button. Give us a subscribe to the WrestleTalk channel here. We've got loads of fun stuff, including our big Rock vs. John Cena series. Episode 1 and 2 are out right now. You can go and watch episode 1, our review of WrestleMania 27, after this show. And send in your chat gables to WrestleTalk.com/support, or read out every single one before the end of the show, over $5. But we will begin with the big winner. Well, no, let's actually start from the match. We will begin with the Men's Royal Rumble.
Yes, I very much enjoyed the Men's Royal Rumble. There were so many moments in this. Like when Roman Reigns came out, almost like midway through the Rumble, I stood out of my chair, literally like, stood up and was like, uh-oh, like business is going to pick up. And then you had that run where it was like Cena, Punk, and Rollins.
Braun Strowman.
And then beautifully Dominic Mysterio at the end of there to sort of like be the... Starting with Rey and Penta. Like there was so much good stuff in this Rumble. Some stuff that I don't think was like overly great. Like I think Drew just being eliminated by Damian Priest, I think is weird. I think Sammy was incredibly inconsequential in the match, considering what a good storyline he had going into it. But overall, it's a thumbs up Rumble, particularly because I don't think many people had Jey Uso down to win this thing.
Royal Rumble 2001. Royal Rumble, is it 2019? It's the other great one. Or is it 2018?
2019 Seth's one, which it's a good Rumble.
The 2018 one then, where you've got the great final six.
Yes, yeah.
Those are probably the two greatest Rumbles
people like
ever.
Yeah, people like 2020 a lot. That's a very good Rumble.
Yeah, that's a good Rumble.
That's a really good Rumble.
The whole Brock half, of course. Redacted. The redacted half. I think this is in the conversation. I honestly, I watched it. I was in love with the match from number 1 all the way through to number 30. My boy CM Punk got thrown out by Logan Paul.
Such a great spot.
And I was angry, not at the booking, but at Logan Paul.
That's exactly it. I had the same thing with the Street Profits. When the Street Profits cost the guns, the tag titles, I had huge heat with the Profits, not with the booking.
Don't get carried away. I don't actually think that one was good. But the Logan Paul, I'm just talking about the Men's Rumble match here, because let's not get carried away. The whole show, half of it was a bit weak. But the second half
was awesome.
Was incredible, and it's how you leave them.
The Men's Rumble was a stark contrast to the Women's Rumble.
The Women's Rumble, I think the major storyline throughout and going in was, here's a woman. Now here's a woman.
Yeah.
Now here's a woman. Here's another one. Didn't expect that one, did you? Here's a woman.
Here is the incredible success of the Men's Rumble in terms of really illustrating what a good job Triple H and the creative crew have done for the men's division within WWE. It only had one surprise in there. No NXT names. It was all main roster guys, and every single one of them came in and was like, that's a guy in this Rumble. That's a good star in this Rumble. Like, even guys like Ludwig Kaiser or like Santos Escobar, these sort of like lower level guys, so come in and be like, oh man, but they can do some cool stuff around here. So Joe Hendry's the only surprise in the Rumble.
I would say AJ Styles coming back from injury.
I'm talking about just main roster guys. Like, I'm not talking about returns and things like that. I'm just talking about like main roster talent versus NXT versus TNA crossovers or legends returning or commentary. It was 29 main roster guys, and every single one of them felt like they had a role to play within this Rumble. That is such a good result of very good booking and making people feel important on a show. Bracket in the men's division.
Well, I said earlier, I need a bit of time for me to really. It's not even a couple of hours removed since I've watched the event. I'd like it to have a few sleeps on it before I properly rank it. But I will confidently say this is the best built Rumble of all time. Yep. Going in, it's the most built Rumble. So that means everyone had something to do with someone else, and it all made sense, and the characters really sparked off each other.
I want to correct myself because the chat has corrected me. IShowSpeed was in this Rumble. So 28.
Ah, yes.
Genuinely, I made that point last night. There were 29 main roster guys, and someone corrected me to show that Speed was in this Rumble. And I was like, you're right, he was. And I've forgotten again that he was in this Rumble.
You're a tired boy.
In his Drew Carey spot. Like, I don't know who IShowSpeed is at all, but I get that he's a big deal for some people. And I thought that it was a perfect use of a comedy celebrity spot in the same way that Drew Carey was in 01. Because it's not, you just go in there, you do one spot, and you get eliminated.
Well, let's go through chronologically. The match started off with Rey Mysterio at numero uno. Boo! When I see Rey come out for a Rumble, I just want to boo him.
No, he goes, it wasn't number 30 this time.
And I already thought, well, I guess Penta's second then. And then, of course, number 2, number dos, is Penta. He comes out. We're like, oh my God, we're starting off with like this dream match.
Yeah.
And he does the Zero Miedo. Everyone's chanting, this is awesome. And then Penta eliminates himself.
Well. VAR went to this. Only 1 foot touched the floor.
Oh, I'm pretty confident. I mean, I've watched it back a bunch of times.
I thought so as well, but I've seen pictures where it's like it looks like it is only just 1 foot touches the floor.
It's
but
probably
I mean,
not the right frame.
In the moment, I was like, yeah, he eliminated himself, and the crowd there all went, yeah, he eliminated himself. And Rey and Penta did go on the apron like, am I out? Am I? Because I'm supposed to be in here for a while.
But whatever, I don't really mind because if you're a Penta fan, you're used to a few botches. That to me, like, yeah, of course he's going to eliminate himself in a couple of moves.
Yeah, in his first Rumble appearance.
And then he's not going to give a toss. He's going to get back in. He's going to be in for like 50 minutes. Yeah. That's what makes Penta great. So they have a bit. And then, of course, number 3, I thought, well, are we going to get another Latino person? No, it's Chad Gable.
Great.
Who has a storyline against luchadors right now.
Yeah.
Penta immediately kicks him in the face, and Chad has to recover for a while.
I know. And then, like, Rey lands hard on his legs, and, like, Chad just, like, buckles to the floor and is in the corner. Talks to Chad, and I was like, he's having a rough old Rumble.
Yeah. So, somehow, like, this was a super botchy first couple of minutes. I don't mind. No. I was into it. Yeah. I was so hyped for the men's Rumble. I was saying all day yesterday to my lady partner on our lovely walk through the forest to an Italian deli in Snaresbrook. I just kept. I'm so excited. I was trying to say, like, what do you think if this would happen? I don't really know what's going on with the like WWE story. Yeah, I know. Well, let me tell you what this person's been doing for 3 months, and then maybe you can have an opinion.
Every single time someone new came into this match, the 3 of us on the live reaction, she was like, I'm just so giddy. I was just giddy throughout this.
Number 4, Carmelo Hayes. Not really much to do, but he had, he's very charismatic, good showing. Santos Escobar comes in, hits a 619 on Rey immediately, and then he bumps into Penta, and you have that sort of, they're both Latino.
Yeah.
Oh, they're gonna fight. That was fun. And then they all
letting Penta know what his booking is going to be in for the rest of his WWE run.
Nearly everyone gets eliminated at this point. Like, they're all hanging off the ropes, which was a cool spot.
I disagree. Because they did the exact same spot in the Women's Rumble just 3 hours earlier.
Yeah, but that didn't mean anything.
But it was Chelsea. I think it was funnier in the women's one because it was Chelsea Green that did it. So it was really in keeping with her character. And then they did... are the producers not talking to each other? Because it was the exact same spot.
Give him some slack, Luke. It was about 20 hours ago. There are 20 hours in between the Women's Rumble and the Men's Rumble. This was a horrendously long show.
I disagree. I thought it actually was paced much better than, like... Well,
4.5 hours?
Yeah, and 2 of the matches were like an hour and 15 each. The ladder match had a lot of time given to it, and the tag match. Honestly,
the matches were fine.
Yeah,
all the guff in the middle of it.
I felt like there was much less guff this time round. There have been guffier shows that WWE have put on. This felt like less on the guff side.
It was guff hard. This was guff hard 2 for me.
I thought it was guff light.
Otis comes out next, and he just gets this great comedy pop. He does the worm, and Chad slides in mid-Otis worm, locks in an ankle lock.
Yeah.
Seamlessly.
Seamless. It does show that, he's done nothing since the Chad Gable feud from last summer. Not even last summer. Like, this time last year.
Let me enjoy the mid-card here. Stop coming at me with all your criticisms. Because at number 7... Bron Breakker comes in.
This is where I was like, now we're here.
Okay, now we've gone from first gear, not to, neg on Ray and Penta, but that was the first gear of the match. And Bron Breakker coming through those ropes was like, and I think we might have done that thing you're not meant to do where you go from first to third. The car juddered a bit because he's so fast. He spears Hayes, eliminates him right away, eliminates Escobar too.
Beautiful. Perfect use.
I should also point out here as well, and I haven't got your thoughts on this yet, I thought it was magnificent. The graphic that was on the bottom of the screen the entire time, which constantly had, there's 9 people active, 4 have been eliminated. Next entrance is number 17. Stuff like that.
Loved it. I thought it was so great. And it was constantly updating. We'd come up with here is this person, here are some facts about them. I liked actually a small detail on their entrances. Little flag in the middle to show you what country they are representing, which I thought was a lovely little touch. Gave you, in the men's one, height, weight. And then it was like, this person has eliminated this many people, and here are the names they've eliminated. Here are the 23 people who have been in the match thus far. I thought it was a great little touch because it gave it a much more sports presentation feel. But I think if you're a new viewer coming into this, it made it so much easier to track where you're at with the Rumble, how many people are eliminated, how many people... I thought it was a beautiful way to help a new viewer understand the Rumble format without explaining what's going on.
Helps new viewers and enhances existing viewers' experience.
Perfect.
Brilliant.
So good.
Akira Tozawa is out next at number 8, but Carmelo Hayes, who's just been eliminated, is grumpy, and he punches Akira Tozawa. And this punch is so hard that Triple H says, well, Tozawa can't continue. I think that WWE have... overcorrected after the JD McDonough bump on Monday. I know we all criticized them like they should have stopped that match, but I think Akira Tozawa probably could have competed.
Well, I know he punched him in the back of their head, and he was, all concussed and that.
So there's this great sort of frantic follow shot that they go from the ramp into Gorilla, and Triple H just like, oh, you can't go out there. I Show Speed, get out there. And I Show Speed, the streamer who I've just been acquainted with over the last week. Or was he at the Raw Netflix debut?
No, he was at Mania last year. That was where I first bumped into him because Randy Orton gave him an RKO. And that was when I was like, oh, he is a guy. And it was producer Ellis was the one who was like, oh, that's I Show Speed. And I was like, what does he do? He goes, he streams. I'm like, that's all I need to know then. He is a streamer.
I think he streams football. And he really likes Cristiano Ronaldo.
Oh, yeah?
This is what my brief Google has told me about I Show Speed. But for somebody...
Is he English?
I've got no idea.
Oh, okay.
But his performance was really good.
Yeah.
So when Triple H said, you get in, you go down there now, take this guy's place, Speed's sort of reaction was both excited and horrified at the same time.
Yeah.
which is like, okay. And he runs out. He eliminates Otis, but then Braun
murdered him with a spear. It was beautiful.
It felt like I was watching a different era, where if any non-wrestler dared get in the ring with a wrestler, they would kick the crap out of them.
It was so awesome. It was so great. And as I said, a perfect celebrity cameo spot. You go in, you do one thing, which is eliminate a guy that doesn't, on no disrespect to others, doesn't really matter. So you can get the headline the following day. And then he just gets completely killed and eliminated quickly. He's out before the next person's even in. Just like Drew Carey in 01, this is a great use of a celebrity cameo.
Great comedy spot.
Exactly.
So what happens? Braun throws him over the top rope. Otis catches him, and Otis could just put him back on the apron and save Speed. But instead he goes, but you just eliminated me. And gives him this standing fall-away slam over the commentary table.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Like, a lot of respect for the I Show Speed fella.
Yeah. I mean, he took his bumps. I mean, that Braun bump was, big enough.
That was enough. I think just sort of relative damage-wise, that's worse than the Alabama slam through the ladder bridge. Sheamus is out at number 9. Jimmy Uso's out at number 10. How is that only his 3rd career Rumble?
He's been there for so long.
I just thought he might have accidentally had 5 Rumbles.
There was a Rumble with 40 guys in it once. Like, was he not part of that one?
Andrade's out at number 11 a year after he returned in this match from AEW. Talking to guys who are in the same or less better off position.
Yeah.
But then we go from that 3rd gear, I'm going to say let's put it into 5th.
Oh, yeah.
Because at number 12 was Jacob Fatu.
What I loved about this little run for Jacob Fatu then was every person that came in next, I'm like, I want to see him with Jacob. Pair him up with Jacob. Like, even just guys in the ring, I was like, I want Jacob and Penta. I want Jacob and Ray.
Yeah, Jacob and Bron Breakker.
Yeah.
They'd already had that interaction last year. And he just destroyed people. He Samoan dropped both Penta and Ray, and then he eliminates Mysterio and Andrade. Thanks for coming, Andrade.
I didn't realize he was out. He's out so early.
Spot, yeah.
I didn't realize he was out that early. I thought he was in there for a while.
I think if you listen to the thing, you can hear geek. Like Jey Uso's got yeet. Geek.
Geek.
How was AEW? I'll teach you for leaving us.
Yeah, wife won, though.
Then number 13 was Ludwig Kaiser, who also got a fun comedy spot. He runs down. This is a long entrance ramp, by the way. He runs down, and he just slows right at the end and does his little strut. Yeah. And he goes, let's pump the brakes here.
Yeah.
And he's waiting to get in. And he's like, oh, I can run in and eliminate Penta. He runs in, and Penta throws him right out.
Yeah, great stuff.
Doesn't do anything bad for Kaiser.
No, not at all.
Then The Miz comes out. He's tied for the 2nd most Rumbles ever.
Yeah.
He's the male Natalia.
So I got a fact about him wrong recently on a Survival series where I said, here's a weird statistic about The Miz. I think he's only been in like 2 Rumbles, despite that he's always been there. What I meant, I got it wrong. He's only got 2 eliminations in Royal Rumbles, and one of those eliminations is in a Royal Rumble he wasn't a part of. Which means, I think pound for pound, he's the worst Rumble competitor ever.
Main event at WrestleMania, though.
Sure did, yeah.
It was worth it, though, because Fatu destroyed him and eliminated him immediately. And then we're at number 15, the midpoint of the match. I believe in Joe Hendry. Say his name and he appears to a huge pop.
Yeah.
It was brilliant. I was so happy for him.
So thrilled.
We've shared a hot tub with that guy.
I know. I couldn't help myself, but I just shouted out, I know him! Couldn't have happened to a nicer fella either. Like, he's worked very hard to get to this point, and I think all of his success last year has led to him getting this pop.
And he comes in, he hits his spot. Sheamus, by the way, is just chilling in the corner and just enjoying this. And I thought, are they going to have a stare-off or something? No. Sheamus did nothing. He just sat there and enjoyed the pop of Joe Hendry.
And is it Jacob, then, that ruins it all? And Sheamus like, oh, come on, man. That was really fun. You should see some of his entrances he used to do in ICW. Yeah. Honestly, YouTube it. It's really good.
And then you're like, oh, wow, this is... Honestly, I was having so much fun at this point of the Rumble. Mm-hmm. I've been loving it since the start. And I loved it even more when Breakker came out. And I loved it even more when Fatu came out. And then Joe Hendry comes out. But that's all the mid-card.
Yeah.
I forgot of all the main eventers we had. And then when Roman Reigns comes out at number 16.
This is it for me, man. Like, when Jacob came out, I was like, all right, now you have my attention. You've had a nice lot of fun first 10 with some comedy and this, that, and the other. Now Jacob's here and business picking up. And then you had the Joe appearance and then Roman. I was like, this is it now. Like, I am now fully in for this Rumble.
He spears and eliminates Sheamus. He spears and eliminates Hendry, which, you know, is a bit unfortunate.
That's what Joe was there for. Joe was there for the pop. Like that. Unfortunately, that is all Joe was there for, was to get the entrance pop.
No, it's a really good mutually beneficial partnership between WWE and TNA.
Yeah, look at all the ones who showed up in the Women's Rumble, like Jordan Grace, who we've now signed from TNA.
Yeah, so I do think it makes the TNA World Champion look pretty bad, but he did get eliminated by Roman, I suppose, in the middle of 3 other eliminations. So then Roman goes to spear Breakker.
Yeah.
They miss each other, run the ropes, and Breakker spears Roman.
Oh, I loved it.
And I flew out of my seat. This was awesome. And then Breakker's going to eliminate Roman. And I thought, oh my God, is this going to happen? But Roman reverses it, throws Braun over the top rope. And I'm just like, these eliminations are perfect.
Yep.
Because Braun doesn't lose anything there.
No. Great showing for Braun.
Yeah. Then we had the stare down between Roman and Fatu, where Michael Cole said the very pointed line, "You are looking at a future Mania main event."
So I said this on a show last night. I'll say it again. It's not the first time I've said it on a thing either. Someone did tell me that when Roman took his WrestleMania break last year, like he did WrestleMania, took a break, he was telling people, when I come back, I want to make Jacob Fatu a star. And if I can't have a match with The Rock at Mania, I want to have a match with Jacob Fatu.
I don't think that's happening this year.
I don't think it's happening this year, because I think those plans have now changed because of old, Phil coming and being like, I think actually me, I think it's clobbering time. Yeah. Maybe it's clobbering time with me in the WrestleMania main event. But I think he is, from what I've been told, very much geared up to make Jacob Fatu a top guy. And I think he achieved a lot of that in this match.
Well, yeah. If anyone's got it, Jacob, Braun, those 2 guys are right there, ready to be elevated. Poor old Solo, though. It does make you think.
Well, it's, we've been saying this for months now. We've been saying this pretty much since SummerSlam last year, that I don't think this Solo's the guy. I'm pretty sure this Jacob Fatu that's standing behind him is a much better guy.
There could have been a Solo Sikoa interaction with John Cena on this Rumble. Remember when they were pushing
No one remembers.
Solo?
Not even John Cena remembers that.
He didn't even remember in the press junket the following day when he could suddenly speak. Drew McIntyre's out at number 17. Awesome, because then him and Jacob Fatu can gang up on Roman. It's currently, by the way, Drew, Jacob, Roman, and Penta. Those are your 4 people in the ring.
And a shout out to Sean Ross Sapp, because when it was Jacob and Roman in the ring, he tweeted out, Penta is hiding in the corner thinking, muchos miedo.
Then at number 8, and this is the worst part of the night for me. Worse than Punk getting eliminated, worse than, whatever. Finn Balor comes out at number 18, and no one popped for his music because no one recognized it, because it's new and it sucks ass.
But also, his Titantron doesn't say Finn. It says FXXX. So everyone's like, who's that then?
Well, it stands for, this new music is FXing awful. So generic, I couldn't even hum it to you right now, and I've listened to it very recently. Then Nakamura's out, US champion. Balor eliminates him pretty quickly.
Does he? I thought Nakamura's in no longer. I think... Oh!
Sorry. Penta hit a destroyer on Fatu. Oh, Balor eliminates Penta.
Oh, yeah?
I've got in my notes.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And then
then Jey Uso comes
out at number 20. he eliminates Nakamura.
That's right.
So Nakamura, your US champion, who's never really around, managed a good old 2 minutes tonight.
But, you know,
Smart guy.
But when he won that belt, people were like, this is it. This is the start of a big Nakamura push.
21, AJ Styles comes out, which is awesome. He's back. That was a really good pop. A huge pop for him. And then at number 22 is Braun Strowman. And he goes right for Jacob Fatu, who he's feuding with, and he eliminates him.
I was disappointed by that.
I was disappointed. But you do need to get Jacob out. He had a good 10 entry run, because the next person out was John Cena and then Punk. And you don't want to give away those Fatu interactions. You got the Roman thing. That was the important thing.
I'd have had Roman eliminate him then. I just felt that. Like, and this is no disrespect to Braun Strowman. This match felt like it was really elevating Jacob Fatu's stock, and then Braun Strowman came in and just dragged him right back down into a lower mid-card feud that not many people care about.
I'm not finished with you. Oh, yeah.
I kind of wish you were, though.
Moved on.
Yeah, but like I just felt a bit. I was like, I'm looking forward to like main event Jacob Fatu, and I was like, nope, you're just doing a lower league thing with Braun again. Okay. I can get it because it makes sense because of the angle they did on Saturday night's main event. It's just that I think there were bigger and better things to do with Jacob Fatu in this Rumble than continue a Braun Strowman feud.
I agree. And I'll add that Strowman wasn't really selling that big beatdown from last week on Saturday night's main event.
He's a monster.
Yeah, but he's the feud with Bronson Reed. He was all taped up for parts of that. Yeah. Not suboptimal. But
it is.
I get why you do it.
But it doesn't matter, because who we got next?
John Cena.
Wabadoo.
And he comes out and he's got a little towel that reads, "The last time is now." And son of a bitch. I choked up a bit when I read that.
No way.
I hate the guy. I can't stand John Cena. Pre-2015, I know I like him now. But honestly, a lot of my identity as an early 20-something was built around hating John Cena.
Oh, yeah? Like a lot of us.
And here he comes out with his last time is now thing. Gonna miss you, John.
Well, that's it. And there's a moment later in this match when he is doing the Yay Boo spot with Jey Uso. And it's yeet and cheers. And I was like, man, any other time period, and that is yeet and heavy boos because people are booing John Cena. And like, I'm so used to people just booing John Cena. But I was thinking about this yesterday. He won his first world title 20 years ago. So if you were 8 when he first won his world title, you are now 28. You are now not even just an adult. You are approaching middle age. Like, it's not that far off. You are closer.
30's not middle age.
You are closer. Well, no, I was saying because if you're getting towards 40, you're only like 12 years off from being 40, which means you're closer to there than you were being 8 years old again. Well, no, if you let me finish my point, you're closer to being in middle age than you are being a teenager or being 8 years old again. Like, you are approaching middle age. So you are now just a fully fledged adult person. And you're just cheering your childhood hero.
Yeah, because you've still got those wrong opinions.
Yeah, and you also think that episode 2 is a good movie.
There was a bit, I can't remember, maybe it was the final 3, and there were chants going, "Let's go Cena," and nothing. No. And in my head, I was getting, Cena sucks?
Yeah.
Cena, why isn't anyone saying Cena sucks to this? So they hold on a shot of Fatu, though. Fatu, when he was eliminated by Braun, had a great rage out moment. And really, that was the bit that made me go, okay, he's very angry. I don't mind this as much as I might have done.
Yeah.
He's like throwing the announce table and chairs around. And then when Cena comes in, they hold on a shot of Fatu staring at him. Did you know this?
I didn't notice that, but not as in like... Yeah, I didn't pick up on it. I was enjoying watching him throw that chair around. He nearly threw that chair into the ring. Could have caught onto the bottom rope.
So then Cena eliminates Braun and Balor. And then it's Cena and Roman in the ring.
Yeah.
My God, that's awesome. And at number 24, it's CM Punk. CM Pink Trunks. And I lost it. I was tingling all over. It's like
great.
Triple H have been just... tickling my balls.
He was just edging you.
He just edged me for ages. And then, I mean, it never actually released. But
what I love about this is This section here is pure rule of cool. Because from Cena's entrance and his entrance into the Rumble through to Seth Rollins' entrance, which is 3 entrances later, they do nothing. Absolutely diddly dick happens. Because CM Punk just makes his entrance. The second he gets in the ring, Seth Rollins makes his entrance. The match stops for like 5 minutes just as people make entrances. But because it's so cool and they're such big stars, I'm like, oh, just do it again. Bring out another one.
So during this, in the 3-way stare down, Punk and Roman, they're modern, they're cool. They're doing these really mean, stoic, badass stares at each other. And John Cena's in the middle of them. Looking like red and yellow Hulkamania in the middle of Stone Cold Steve Austin Rock stare down. Doing the whoa, guys, can you see these two? Wow, what a moment. I'm John Cena. And I thought, you son of a bitch.
He's genuinely dreadful on a lot of this.
You haven't changed and I hate you, but now I love you. These are really conflicting emotions.
So you've got a pretty interesting theory about this, whereas you think this is John Cena play acting as John Cena from 20 years ago.
Well, this is what we're sort of diving into the Rock John Cena feud from 2011, and one of our takes is that the Rock is no longer the Rock in that period. He is Dwayne Johnson, the movie actor, playing the Rock.
Yeah.
Which he, because he'll frequently break character and go, oh, this is really cool. I'm really excited to be here. Like the Rock would never do that.
Yeah.
This is John Cena playing the role of John Cena now.
Yeah, playing it. And it is so over the top goofy that you have to be like, you can't think you're doing good at this.
But that's what, most of the tribute acts end up, when I say tribute acts, I mean like sort of legend acts end up doing. I've seen the Rolling Stones. Those aren't the Rolling Stones spirit from the 70s. These are some very old guys who are trying to recapture that spirit. They are doing an imitation of their younger selves.
Yeah.
And that's what John Cena is doing. And maybe that's why I like it, because I hate old John Cena.
It just does remind me of old John Cena. And like, this is why I just did not like you for, all of my 20s, essentially. I was when he eliminated Balor, Braun Strowman was wildly out of position for it and did not catch him and then looked really angry about it.
Yeah. Yeah, weirdly, and he didn't check on Finn. It's like, I'm so angry that I screwed up that positioning that I'm not going to check on the guy. I'm just going to walk around being a train.
And he was angry. He was angry at John for not throwing him far enough.
At number 25, it's Seth Rollins. So
great.
we never get that 3-way interaction between Cena, Roman, and Punk because Seth comes in and just goes straight for Punk.
Yeah.
And then after this hot run of just absolute awesomeness, Dominic Mysterio at 26.
Perfect. So great.
Bring him back down.
Let's just take these gears down. We've got into a 30 zone, everyone.
Yeah. Then it's Sami Zayn at number 27. Damian Priest at number 28, who eliminates Dom. 29 is LA Knight to get a Yeet versus Yeah off with Jay and LA. And at number 30, it's Logan Paul. In all that, Sami is helping Roman up, but Jey Uso accidentally super kicks Sami and eliminates Sami.
Yeah, I was surprised at that. Yeah,
because there was so much to do there that they were explicitly building where it's like, oh, Seth, Roman, and Sami in the middle. And maybe even like Owens would get involved and because he's annoyed at Sami for not helping him more in the Cody match. But it's good they didn't do that because Owens needs to sell essentially dying at the end of that match. But yeah, I just thought there was more there with Sami and Drew and Punk and that whole collection of people.
Those are the two I would say. Jacob to a lesser extent, but Drew and Sami in particular, where they had so much good story work going into this Rumble that their eliminations felt like massive afterthoughts. Like, I guess you can now build to a little mini Sami and Jey thing because Jey won the Royal Rumble, so Sami, you're like, you stole my moment from me, and maybe you can do a little bit of a hypocritical point of view from Sami because he has accidentally haluva kicked two people in the face that he didn't mean to, but he's angry at Jey for accidentally super kicking him. So maybe there's a hypocritical angle you can take on there.
I think that would be a way to do it. That means Sami turning heel again.
Which I'm not really into.
I don't know if I'm into that either. But Owens is right there. He's also a heel. So there's also Sammy. What do you think about Sammy beating Gunther for the World Heavyweight title? Because he's got a lot of history with Gunther. He's tried to get that belt already. Jey is presumably going to... By the way, Jey wins the Rumble. Is going to choose the World Heavyweight belt.
He's already announced that.
He's already announced it. To face Gunther at WrestleMania. But if Sammy beats Gunther, could we have a Sammy Jey?
Well,
match?
You can do. I don't love someone's title reign ending in February, or in this case, March, so they can just lose it 1 month later. Because Jey's going to win at WrestleMania. Like, Jey is winning this title at WrestleMania in the same way that Austin was always going to win at WrestleMania X7. So The Rock was just going to have a 1 month reign. It was like, well, we don't want to do Austin and Angle, so just get the belt off Angle and put it on The Rock for a month. Or with Bray. It's like, well, we really want Orton to win at WrestleMania, so just put the belt on Bray for 1 month. So for me, as a fan, I can't enjoy that Sammy run because I'm just looking at it being like, well, that you are a transitional champion just to put it on a different guy. And like, I didn't get into Bray's title win when he had it because I was like, well, Orton's going to win next month, so I'm not going to invest any excitement into this because it's wasted excitement.
But what a match it was.
Oh, what? The Bray Orton match?
Yeah.
I'm watching it again soon for worst match ever. I have not seen it since it happened.
You're totally right. Maybe this is a seed for Sammy to be Jey's first challenger.
Yeah, and also the story is Jey wants to beat Gunther. Didn't beat him for the IC title, didn't beat him for the World Heavyweight title, but he knows that he can beat him. Yeet.
Still left a lot on the table, regardless. And the other one was this elimination that happened next. Damian Priest, who's now on SmackDown, just eliminated Drew McIntyre.
Yeah.
Who's on Raw. So I'm pretty confident they're not going to be building a Damian versus Drew program going into Mania.
Oh, I mean, they could do.
Yeah, people appear on other people's shows.
Yeah.
But Drew seems so embedded in this Roman, Seth, Sammy, Punk storyline that it was so weird that he was just thrown out by Priest.
I mean, you could play off what happened at Mania last year, which is Priest cashing in on Drew. So, it's a grudge match to do at Mania. I mean, Damian Priest is a guy that we have been looking at for the last month or so, being like, I don't know what he was going to do at WrestleMania, bud. And you should be doing something. So a Drew program's not the worst idea in the world. It's not what I would do with Drew, because I think it's oddly quite a step down for Drew. But it's something, I guess.
I don't think it will pay off at Mania 45. I think this again...
45?
Wow. Yeah, I don't think it will pay off then. You heard me right.
I'm going to go out on a limb.
I don't think it will pay off at Mania 50 either. 49, 48. Shall I go on?
If we are still doing this by WrestleMania 45, and it is Damian Priest versus Drew McIntyre, I need people to clip this out and play it back to us.
I don't think it's happened at Mania 41, was what I was meant to say there. But maybe you can tell this long-running story that Damian costs Drew his WrestleMania moments.
Yeah.
So the cash-in of the Money in the Bank at last year, and here he stopped him from winning at the Rumble. But yeah, the report is that Drew McIntyre then stormed backstage. There was screaming and cursing because he was unhappy that someone in the match did a lot of their own moves at the expense of other people's storylines, and then he stormed off either before the match or the event was over.
Yeah, because I think the PW Insider report was he left before the match had even finished.
And Wrestling Observer Radio have sort of said they've heard a similar thing. Initially, they were told it was a work, but then that same person got back to them and said, oh, looks like it's real.
I think with everything in Mania season, I take everything with a grain of salt. It's like all the Alexa Bliss stuff. It was like, I'd said it a lot in the news, but like I would take all of this Alexa Bliss stuff with a grain of salt.
The bit that gives me pause on that is that part of the Wrestling Observer's edition is that a lot of people felt this way. So this isn't just Drew trying to work a thing. It's a lot of people were annoyed with someone's performance in this match, and Drew was the one who actually blew up over it. That doesn't feel like the sort of thing WWE would leak out. They usually, if they're going to do it, they bring it into just one person because they'll work it into a storyline.
Maybe. I don't know, man.
The theory, the speculation, this is Brian Alvarez's speculation, not a report, remember. This is just him watching the match and going, well, if that's the case, looking at it, it seems like Drew, Sammy, and I think Jey were doing a thing in the corner, and Logan Paul and LA Knight took a long time to do their spots. Mm-hmm. So maybe this is some anger at Logan or Knight.
Could be.
We'll find out, I'm sure. It won't be the last of that reporting. Speaking of Logan, he got the Kofi Kingston spot. He was pushed by LA Knight off the apron and landed on the announcer's table.
It was at this point I realised, there's been no New Day in this match.
Yeah.
Man, they have really fallen, haven't they, since that great angle they did last year.
That we all thought was building to Woods and Kingston in the Rumble, and then Big E walks out.
Or even just, there's that. But I would actually argue just Kofi and Woods doing something really good with this angle.
Because we booked it in our 3-count predictions, which was Kofi screws up someone trying to do the Kofi spot.
Yeah.
It's right there. Logan says he's going to work smart, though, not harder. So he hops onto the steel steps, waits till AJ Styles does his phenomenal forearm and just pushes him off the top rope. So that's AJ gone.
Good, that's a good WrestleMania match to do Styles and Logan.
Yeah. And then he also eliminates Knight. And then we're at the final 6.
Sorry, I'm going to make a big prediction here for WrestleMania because you can't use this clip anymore. So you can have AJ and Logan both do springboard forearms and clash in the middle of the ring, because the other version of that is with Ricochet, who's no longer with the company. So you need a new version of that. It's like when we're
going viral.
It's like when they did the ring break spot with Show and Henry, because they can't use the one that Brock was in anymore. So it was like, well, we just need 2 other lads to do it, so we can always show a ring break.
It's a good prediction. So the final 6 was Cena, Jey Uso, Seth, Roman, Logan, and Punk. And we get a Punk GTS on Logan. That's fun. Mm-hmm. And then Seth and Roman, they're sort of the only ones left standing out of this brawl. They have that great shot of Seth sitting up and Roman's behind him, I think. And they just have a mini match.
Yeah, it was so great.
Like a mini 30-second match. But then Punk throws both Seth and Roman over the top rope.
Yes, he did. And it was so great.
It was awesome. I was like, yes, of course. Like Roman and Seth's hate for each other has consumed them and cost them the match.
Yeah.
Punk's involved with both guys. Perfect booking. And then Logan Paul eliminates Punk immediately after.
Beautiful.
And I was fuming. Fuming for 5 seconds. And then I was like, that's really good.
It's so great. It's such a good elimination.
I don't want Punk versus Logan at Mania, but do I want Punk Logan as a little mini TV feud on the road to WrestleMania? Yes.
Do something in the chamber.
Yeah.
We've got to try and find who's going to be facing Cody for the WWE Championship. So, maybe they're in the chamber match.
I want to hear Punk cut a promo on Logan Paul.
Yes, that's a really good shout.
There's quite a lot there. There's quite a lot that Punk can dive into from the past.
Speaking of, that Logan doesn't want brought up, remember that Dominic Mysterio thing where it's like, you've never been to Japan. You should really go.
Have you got my favorite bit about that Dom bit is you still got the hat? Because he's got the Toy Story alien hat.
Yeah, you've been to Japan. It's really nice there. Sure, I'm still talking about it. Speaking of promos, when they're both on the floor, because it's Punk and Roman on the floor, Roman then goes to Punk, was like, we were teaming 2 months ago, what happened? And I'm like, it's every man for himself, Roman. You've done this before.
So big pull apart brawl outside between Punk, Seth, and Roman.
Are we gonna sidestep this double stomp?
And in that, Seth hits a stomp on Roman, but for some reason does both feet, Finn Balor style, directly, well, not both feet on Roman's head. It was sort of upper back, but the other foot was on the head. It looked like he killed Reigns.
I was expecting him to get up as like Christopher Lloyd in Who Framed Roger Rabbit. Surprised!
Yeah, completely two-dimensional tribal chief Roman Reigns. That should be a mode.
2DTC.
And it was
the gnarliest stomp I've ever seen.
It was really full on. Either they agreed it to give this some real oomph, or it was a bit of a botch.
Yeah.
Feels more on the botchy end, because I don't think you'd risk doing that for Roman.
It was so awesome. Yeah, there was a very wild brawl. And it kind of sort of distracted from the fact that we've just eliminated 3 of the final 6 in one go. And our final 3 is now Cena, Jey, and Logan. And it was at this point here, because I was like, maybe we are going for a Jey win. But we as a group, and myself included within this, went into this thinking that Cena was winning the Rumble. And in this moment here, I was like, I think this is there's a chance that Jey wins here, but I think this is definitely cementing that Cena wins. And the way to do it is Logan eliminates Jey, and it's Cena and Logan as the final 2, so he can eliminate Logan. And it was only when Logan went out, I really was like, I think Jey is going to win here.
I started writing in my notes at this point. Oh, well, it's been a good run. It was a good Rumble, but all the drama's gone now because Cena wins. Just like the Women's Rumble, Charlotte wins, LOL. And they go back and forth. Cena eliminates Logan Paul, like you said. And then Cena and Jey, they're on the ring apron. They're yeeting and cheering back and forth with punches. Cena does this pretty damn good goofy sell where he was so close to falling off the apron, but he grabbed hold of the top rope just at the last second. And then Cena gets up Jey for the AA. I'm like, here we go. And Jey slips off his back into the ring and just pushes Cena off.
Yeah.
And Cena, it's like such a anti-climactic thing to happen in a good way.
Yeah.
Cena just steps forward.
He just steps forward, lands on his feet and goes, I'm out. And,
oh, no.
And Jey's in the ring going, I won.
Yeah.
It was so good. And I think having those as the final 2 is exactly what you've just written in your notes there. Oh, this is so predictable. Cena wins. And it plays off what they did with Charlotte Flair in that opening match, where you're going into it knowing that Charlotte Flair is going to win, and then Charlotte wins LOL. And you're just thinking the same thing here. So when Jey does win, it genuinely was this moment. You can see it in the reactions. I jumped out of my seat. All 3 of us, we nearly broke the set. This fell down because Adrian just threw up his arm. Tempest was just screaming into the microphone. I just could not believe my eyes that it had happened. It's the most surprising Rumble winner since I don't even know when.
When I was first properly getting into...
Nakamura.
Yeah, I guess so. When I was first probably getting back into WWE and wrestling in general, I just had in my head this false belief, and I think a lot of people shared it, that this is 2010, by the way, that the Royal Rumble was there to build new stars. Mm-hmm. It's like King of the Ring, Royal Rumble. They win, and they're that's the way you elevate a mid-carder into a main eventer. But then you look back and you're like, actually, that's never really happened.
No, it's all main eventers winning.
Sheamus won one, didn't he?
Yeah, but he's already a former WWE champion at that point. I'd say 2005 when Cena and Batista, that is a Rumble designed to say, here are 2 new guys.
This is the most shocking Rumble winner ever. Going into a match where you had 3 guys that we could not choose between. Cena, Punk, Roman. It was one of those 3 guys. And they went for the 6th or 7th favorite.
Yes, it is 6th or 7th. In some people's, it wasn't even in my top 10 options of who to win this Rumble. And it's Cultaholic hilariously had a tweet when it was the final 6 being like, doesn't Jey Uso look so out of place in this final 6? And then at the end being like, well, that aged like milk. Yeah. Because I did not see it coming, and I loved it. And so here's the funny thing. So I talked about this on the live reactions last night. On Friday morning, I was brushing my teeth, and I suddenly paused, and I was like, I think Jey Uso is going to beat Gunther for the world title at WrestleMania, and they'll call it Yeetlemania. And I thought, and it kind of makes sense because he didn't beat him for the IC belt, didn't beat him for the world title, and he had that promo saying, I know I can beat him. And I don't know what else you do with Gunther or Jey. So that actually is a really good direction. You can do Jey versus Gunther and Jey wins it, and you can do a big yeeting thing, Yeetlemania. But every single time I thought about it, I said this, I was like, but he's not going to win the Rumble. So I don't know how you're going to get there, because maybe you do something at the Chamber or this and the other, but he's not going to win the Rumble. I said it so many times in the show, I don't think he's going to win the Rumble. Even though, in my head, I was like, I think he's going to win the title. Him winning the Rumble did not seem like an option to me.
I love how this feels like it's a divine message. it just came to you the Friday morning.
I was brushing my teeth.
Yeetlemania. He's spoken to me. The main event, Jey Uso, has sent this telepathically to me. He's inserted it in my head so we can all manifest it together.
Yeah. I loved this. Loved it so much.
Look, Jey Uso, I cannot deny the reactions he gets. Mm-hmm. And when I watch his matches, particularly when he's going for a title, I get really, really into them. He's not my favorite guy. Mm-hmm. He's not really someone I get excited for their matches, but I do enjoy the matches when I see them happen.
Yeah.
But I cannot deny the crowd reactions he's getting, and on paper, in theory, you've got to be building new stars.
Bingo.
And after just decades and decades of Vince never doing that, and he always went with the safe option, I must really commend the creative team here for making the call to go with the new guy, because you had 3 very, very big people in Cena, Roman, and Punk. But you know what? Cena's last year. Punk isn't going to be around forever, and Roman is getting more and more part-time.
Yeah.
And Vince would have definitely given it to one of those people.
Cena in particular.
So congratulations, WWE. You did the right long-term thing. It might not work in the long run, but you tried, and I respect you for it.
Jey, for me, is... I feel about Jey the way that WWE used to feel about Danielson, which is that WWE's mindset of Danielson was, he is not over, yes is over. But I would then watch Danielson matches and I'm like, no, this crowd are really behind Bryan Danielson and really want to see him win these matches. You're just not listening to that. You are hearing and not listening. But with Jey, I kind of have the same thing. I was like, I see him get these huge reactions when he comes out and people are like yeeting all over the show. And then the bell rings and then all the heat dies out of the matches until you get to a finish. And I'm like, I think it is just the entrance is hugely over, but his matches are not over. But you cannot deny how over those matches are. And similarly, when he won that IC title, that was an electric crowd that wanted to see that boy win, in that one match. So I think this is completely the right move. But moreover to that, what I love about this is it adds an air of unpredictability going into future Royal Rumbles. Because the last 2 we've had, the first 2 in the Triple H era, both have been designed for Cody to win. Cody was always going to win the one in 2022. He was in 2023. He was always going to win the one in 2024. And so this year, to be like, we had 4 options and we went with number 5 is so awesome, because it adds that. It's what we used to say about the 01 Rumble. Anyone could have won this thing. It was always Austin's to win, though. This was anyone who could have won this, and one of them was Jey Uso. Love it.
Let's see what you all have to say on the chat gables. Please get them into WrestleTalk.com/support. We'll read out every single one over $5. The Big O has said, this Rumble has made me realise how much I don't like Jey Uso as a wrestler, and I'm now less excited for WrestleMania as a result of him winning. But hey, at least the kids are happy. Men's Rumble was great until the final 3. Women's was very, very bad. Okay, let's not comment on that yet, because we've got a follow-up from the Big O. Hey guys, the Big O back again with a slightly cooler head. Still not thrilled about Jey winning, but man, I don't think anyone can say that was a predictable finish. My favourite return of the night was AJ's phenomenal theme. Oh yeah, what we lost in Finn Balor music, we gained in AJ's phenomenal. Love y'all. Enjoy the $5. Smiley face. Oh, thank you. Thank you for the cash.
I've just put up a poll in the live chat as well with yeet or no yeet, because I will say that I think this has split opinions. Looking at the comments on our live reactions and on our reaction clip out, it is, I would almost feels like 50-50 being like, I'm really excited, and people being like, this has made me not want to watch WrestleMania. So I wanted to do a live poll to see where our current live chat's at.
Look, guys, don't if you're not into Jey Uso winning the Royal Rumble, don't worry. He's not going to main event WrestleMania.
That's what I said. Like, this is not going to be one of the main events.
He's going to be an opener or the second to last match.
This is first match on night 1.
Yeah, which is really a shame. I don't want that. I'm just, cynical. Geek of Arabia says, this was a good effing show. Predictability of Charlotte winning notwithstanding. I watched the first half live, went to bed at 4 a.m., then finished when I woke up. I love WWE being on Netflix. Jey winning, I didn't see that coming, but I love all the same. Yeet. Ben Vlerick writes, I get why not everyone is a fan of Jey, yet you can't deny he is over.
Absolutely.
Second hottest babyface besides Cody. Doesn't matter if it's only a catchphrase or if he isn't the greatest in ring. Over is over.
Absolutely.
Everybody yeeting, selling all the merch, getting pops. Now was the time to pull the trigger. He might be at his peak. You no longer wait. You don't do it like Joe Hendry or tons of other examples where it's just a little or a lot too late. What better way than to win the Rumble and win it at Mania? Do it. Whatever Reigns, Punk and Rollins do next needs no title. Cena can still find another way or just do something else at Mania. With the final two, I was thinking, imagine if they had the balls to make Cena lose and Jey win. No way, right? They'd never do it. When Jey won, I was screaming, holy S-word, they actually did it. Triple H, you did it. You crazy son of a bitch, you did it. I absolutely love this decision, and I think it's 100% the right one. Not even the biggest Jey fan, but it just makes sense. Over equals over. You got every right not to be a fan of Jey. It's all subjective anyway, but the reactions do not lie. After Ziggler, Ryder, etc., they finally properly go with someone at their height. Good. Now follow through. He has to win at Mania. Stick the landing.
I agree 100%. And actually, the thing I love in the most about that, and the thing I agree with the most, is we have seen time and time again not pulling the trigger at the right time. This was the time to pull the trigger.
There were a lot of capitalized words in that. Hopefully I got them over. We all thought Jey Uso beating Roman at that point was the time to do it.
Yeah, I didn't. We
didn't want him to win, but we're like, he's not going to look very good when he loses, though.
No, but I think you don't know if he's going to be this over this time next year. Like the Yeats thing might have completely died off.
Josh Tolman writes, hey guys, call it a recency bias, but the men's rumble might be top 5 ever for me. Also, to everyone complaining that Alexa came back as Fiend Alexa, it's the first time she has been seen in WWE since Bray passed. It's a tribute. She'll be the goddess soon. I
mean, I haven't seen anyone actually pass any comments on Alexa, so I don't know about that. Oh, and I don't actually think she'll be going back to the goddess because I think she'll be involved in the White Six.
The Decker Dane! Hello, Decker Dane, right. I'm totally behind Jey winning, and I can likely see him challenge Gunther. It feels like the Mania plans for Punk, Roman, Rollins, Cena have an element of unpredictability, and hopefully should make this year's Road to Mania fun to watch unfold.
Absolutely. I mean, speaking of thinking of Decker Dane, I was really gutted that we weren't doing a watch party for it.
Ket! I'm not a big fan of Jey winning, but I'm willing to give this Jey push a fair shot. All I'm hoping for is him to take the title off Gunther. Gunther's matches normally put me to sleep. Please take that title off him, Jey. It's like I agree with your answer, but not the working. T-Dollar. Morning, lads. Overall, pretty good show last night. Jey winning was a legit shocker. The big stars will get their big Mania matches with or without the Rumble. A win like this is a big deal for Jey. Online reaction, a bit too negative for me. Much love.
As I said, I'm seeing 50-50. And looking at our poll at the moment, it's 2/3 positive. So yeah. I'm seeing more positive than I'm seeing negative.
Well, the negative comments do stick in your mind more in general. German girls are cool, right? John Cena is starting his 2010 Shawn Michaels arc here. That's what I've been pushing. Don't you guys feel it too? I have this strong feeling that he will be desperate to the point he will do anything to get that record title win.
He had such an interesting line in the post-show press conference where he announced, I'm going to be in the Elimination Chamber because I need to main event WrestleMania. It's best for business. And I was like, that's a wild line for this Cena character. And if he then starts going, it's like, no, I think, guys, you're all wrong. I should be the main event of WrestleMania because I'm John Cena. This is my final year. Do you not know how important this is?
Is that why he was being even more over-the-top goofy than normal?
Huh.
Because it's a way... It's insincere to build a heel. Don't tease me with this, Luke. There is no way we are getting a heel turn John Cena this year.
I don't think it's a heel turn, but
Shawn wasn't a heel
no.
in the Undertaker story.
But I love that character, and I hadn't even considered that he's playing the part of being like, this is what you want to see me, right? Me do the big hits, and me doing the big wacky faces and the goofy selling, because none of this really matters because I'm going to go to the main event of WrestleMania. That's important to me. It's important to the company. But actually, the reality of it is like, oh no, but I should be though, right? I should be the main event.
We haven't got the username here. Streamlabs appears to have lost it. I'm sorry. That pop for Alexa Bliss got emotional seeing her return. I'd say the biggest pop of the night.
It's sustained as well.
Charlie, I rewatched the men's Rumble and I was very wrong. It's actually quite a good Rumble, but still a bit annoyed that Jey won. Still hate the women's Rumble, but the rest of the show was good. I don't think there's anything to hate about the women's Rumble. It was just a match.
Well, that's it. There's nothing in there to hate because nothing really happened in it.
Real Double J. During Rumble entrances, Zoe Stark was announced as Sniper, and in my drunken haze, I was convinced Pure Fried Chicken had become the Truth Commission. Was disappointed that there was no returning clown Asuka coming down to the Oddities theme. Good luck, Ollie. Thank you. Yeah, of course, in my shootout. Almost forgot that was happening. Chris Jaggard. Hey guys, long time watcher, first time messenger. I'm happy Jey won. Great, but as a CM Punk mark, I believe this is the last time he could win the Rumble, as next year's one is in Saudi. Of course it is. Know, yeah. If he kept his word, he won't be there, and one after that will be he's 50. Can't see it.
So we were talking about this on the show last night in the live reactions, because I said I don't think CM Punk's winning this Rumble, because I think in January 2026, on an episode of Raw, we will have WWE Champion Cody Rhodes and CM Punk in the ring talking about Mania predictions. They will make the point of, this is the third year in a row we have done this, and it's never come to pass that you've won and you've never main evented WrestleMania. And that's going to be the one where Punk wins and you do Punk Cody at Mania 42. And then the chat pointed out to me, it's in Saudi Arabia. Punk's likely not going to do that. And I was like, everyone's got a price.
Yeah. And Punk hasn't gone back on his word before. Chad Gable is good at wrestling, right? I was in the cheap seats. Chelsea Green was easily the most over woman in my section. Energy dipped a ton when she was eliminated. The energy during the final 6 in the men's rumble, the energy was insane. People were legitimately emotionally drained afterwards. I'm a bit emotionally drained, and I wasn't there. James Markin using his February mod chat. Thank you, James the mod. Hey, friendos. I was there live. A man did being there remind me why I love wrestling. The electricity in the building was like no other. Trust me, it was the loudest I ever heard a crowd in that building. Well, other than Nikki's pop, or more accurately, sad balloon deflating. Happy for Jey, and no one saw it coming in the stadium. I never seen so many people so thrilled and emotionally happy for one guy in my life. I'll never forget this night for the rest of my life. Even my non-fam friend who tagged along brought a Jacob Fatu shirt and asked when Mania was. I love pro wrestling. That's awesome to hear.
Should we save the rest of these chats to get into the rest of the show?
Oh, sorry. I thought these were all related. But yes, yeah, let's do that and go into the. Where are we? The Women's Rumble.
Well, Stephanie McMahon opening the show first.
Stephanie McMahon opened the show because business. She said she's back now in WWE.
Yeah.
Don't know what she's doing.
Business. But
she's there. She's doing business.
Metrics.
Do you think she's just there? Her laptop's not even plugged into anything. Business. So, PR, charity.
So my 3-year-old, when my wife does nursery drop-offs, she'll come into my office while I'm working, usually when I'm watching Raw, and she says, "Can I tippy tap?" And she sits on my lap and she just does this on my laptop, and she tippy taps, and that's what she goes, "I want to do work," and she does do tippy tap on laptop. That's what you're describing is what Stephanie McMahon is currently doing in WWE.
That explains your script.
It's how you end up saying that Tessa Blanchard is the TNA Knockouts champion.
Pat McAfee does a little intro video package explaining what the Rumble is for new people. Really good stuff.
Yeah.
And then we got the Women's Royal Rumble match. We won't spend a lot of time on this because there's not a great deal to talk about. Io Sky and Liv Morgan and Roxanne Perez were the first 3 entrants.
I love how you've got big notes for Io Sky and Roxanne Perez. 2, Liv Morgan.
Oh, yeah. She was there. The most I can say about Liv Morgan in this match was she was there for a long time, and Raquel Rodriguez came out eventually.
And she eliminated Alexa.
Yeah.
And she was there for a long time.
Yeah. I forgot you're reading my notes because you were doing the live reactions.
I've made no notes.
So, yeah, and this is... I was most impressed in the early half of this Rumble by the graphics. I was like, oh, this is so cool. Roxanne Perez has been in last year's Rumble and this year's Rumble. Oh, and you get all the numbers that people have won from.
Yep.
This is great. And then... And yeah, it's Lyra Valkyria at 4. Chelsea Green's out at number 5.
Man, you want a night and day difference between Chelsea Green's presentation as a mid-card champion to Lyra Valkyria's presentation as a mid-card champion. Christmas Day. Like, Chelsea got so much to do in this match around her character. Lyra was second eliminated.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Chelsea got a lot here, and she was, rightfully so. She was super over. B-Fab comes out, then it's Ivy Nile, Zoe Stark.
B-Fab came in. Adrian, who's a hustle wrestler, who just said, That's your first elimination.
And she was.
And she was.
Green eliminated her.
The second she came out, Adrian was like, she'll be the first person eliminated. And he was absolutely right.
Lash Legend came out at 9. Then Bianca Belair. She had a good run where she was punching people in the corner and she does a backflip out. She's done that like 4 times in succession. Then Shayna Baszler's out and Ivy eliminates Lyra, so there's that IC title feud going on there that was set up on Raw. Bayley comes out, last year's winner. She and Io are going to go face to face. I was like, okay, here's the story part that's going to happen. But the PFC beat them down. I thought, okay, well, we'll get a damage control thing versus... That never happened.
PFC killed this mid portion of the Rumble. Like, this was the most midpoint of the Rumble.
Yeah. Well, and we're talking like 14 entrants here.
Yeah.
About half an hour. Sonya Deville comes in next, completes the PFC. Then it's Maxine Dupree. She did a fun worm.
Thing with Maxine
eliminates Niall.
Well, the thing with Maxine Dupree is like I thought she had a great run, but she is just doing all the same stuff she was doing like this time last year. And it's like, oh, you just not progressed as a character in a full calendar year.
PFC just threw her out almost immediately. Naomi comes out written, quick PFC girls, attack her one at a time. She's on the apron, and rather than just them all swarming her, first it's Sonya Deville, boof. Then it's Shayna Baszler, boof. Maybe Zoe Stark also, nope. Then we get Jada Parker. There's a nice moment with Parker, Legend, Naomi, and Belair, and that's when the bit you mentioned earlier where Green gets in the way. Green was very funny consistently
she was awesome.
Piper Niven comes out at number 17 to give Green backup, but then Piper accidentally eliminates Green.
3-count prediction correct.
But it was so obviously an accident. Piper looked so sad about it.
I did say accidentally eliminates.
Natalia's at 18.
The record's broken.
He's just laughing at my notes to myself. I think the record Natalia broke here was that there were no records broken.
Well, that, and she wasn't wearing pink. So there were times where I thought she was Liv Morgan. And then there were other times when Liv Morgan was wrestling. I was like, I think that's Natalia.
Do you think Punk texted Natalia, can I wear pink today?
Well, the first half of this match, we noticed that like every single person had a lot of pink. It was like everyone got the memo that on Saturdays we wear pink. And then Natalia didn't get that memo. She was like, oh, I thought we weren't doing that today. I usually wear pink.
I think it's for the Netflix audience because, they're going to see 2 Rumbles for the first time. And this is the ladies' one. Number 19, best part of the match for me. It's Jordynne Grace.
Yeah.
Of course it is.
What a liar.
She tried to work. Well, she never lied. She just said, I'm at my mum's birthday that day. She never said she wouldn't be in the Rumble.
Well, no, she did.
Oh.
Because she, quote, retweeted WrestleLamia's, aggregating of PW Insider's report that Jordynne Grace will 100% be in the Rumble. And she said, nope, I'm going to Texas because it's my mum's 50th birthday with a picture of her plane ticket. Yeah. And as Sean Ross Sapp reports, her mum's 48. So it was all a lie.
It's nothing real in wrestling. There's nothing sacred. No line they won't cross. These filthy wrestlers. So Grace gets in. Already awesome. Yeah. But, there's been nothing to sink your teeth into for this entire match.
But 19 entrants.
I know. It's just, here's someone, here's someone, here's someone. They do moves. There's some more music we count down. There's no story to it. But Grace gets in, already cool because it's Grace. She eliminates Jada Parker, hits a rolling Death Valley driver on Piper Niven to a huge pop. Great start to her run.
Pat just shouted, holy S! Like, it just full-on swore on commentary.
And then she hugs Naomi because of their shared time together in TNA.
Yeah.
Like, that's sweet. And then Bianca has this flash of jealousy and pulls Grace off of Naomi.
And then says, Naomi's like, what are you doing?
Yeah, and I was like, whoa, this is... Usually you two are quite one-dimensional, babyface, happy-go-lucky characters.
I sure hope it pays off in the match.
And I thought, oh, yeah, well, maybe Jade Cargill's going to come in, and that's going to be a bit of a... No, none of that got paid off. Meechin at number 20 got no pop. 21, because everyone saved their pop for Alexa Bliss.
Oh, man. So nice to see her back.
Yeah. It really was. It really was. And she goes straight for Bayley. It's like, this is like this feels like classic WWE, but it's only from 5 years ago.
And speaking of feeling like classic WWE, when Alexa Bliss came out, Michael Cole said, "But the internet told me she wasn't coming back." Fuck off, Michael Cole. Particularly because WrestleVotes did report on January 9th she's coming back at the Royal Rumble. And Sean reported she's coming back at the Royal Rumble. The internet very much told you she's coming back.
Zelina Vega at number 22, Candice LeRae at number 23. The graphic told me at this point there were 13 active wrestlers in the match.
Yep.
I thought it's stacking up. Jade Cargill's going to come out.
I was like, it's all there for Nia.
24 was Stephanie Vaquer from NXT. It was cool to see her interact with the main roster. 25 was Trish Stratus. It's a legend. Cole said she used to be the manager for TNA.
T and A,
yeah,
not T-N-A.
I think it was highly confusing. I think there's going to be a lot of very confused new viewers.
Yeah.
Not Test and Albert.
So she's got her on-screen graphic, 25 years of Trish, because this will be her 25th year. I think she gets a WrestleMania match then.
Yeah. I mean, she this wasn't just a little superficial spot. She was in there for a bit doing moves and stuff.
Who eliminated her in the end? Because I thought, like, oh, that'll be the match that they do.
I think it's Nia. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nia throws out Trish. Then it's Raquel Rodriguez, so she can help Liv, who's been in from the start. Remember, Liv, Io, and Perez have all been in there from the start. That's the basic story of this match. These three women are still there. Not much to it. And then, Raquel eliminated Natalya and Bliss. I thought, wow, Bliss was only in for 5 entries. So all of 6-7 minutes.
Yeah. The heat.
She didn't do much.
The heat, brother.
But does that mean that was just a cameo?
No.
Is she not going to come back for a full-time program?
Well, I think she's going to go and stuff with Wyatt Six. And there's nothing with Wyatt Six at the moment in this match that they're feuding with. So, and I think you wanted to eliminate it before Charlotte came in.
Because then Charlotte comes out at number 27. And number 27 is a loaded number in a Rumble. It's one of the luckiest numbers to get. And I was just like, they know exactly what they're doing right now.
I laughed my tits off when she came out and was the only person to get pyro. And I was like, so she's winning then?
Yeah, it's Charlotte. She has all the vignettes building up to this. There's pyro. It's number 27. At this point, I thought, well, it's so obvious. Is this a swerve?
I think that it's so obvious, and they made it so obvious. Triple H is smart enough to know this because he's permanently online, determinedly online as Triple H, so he knows what people's reactions are to Charlotte Flair winning this. So they did everything to make it as obvious as possible that Charlotte was winning, because that helps the Cena thing in the main event. So it makes the Jey win all the more surprising. I think it is done by design.
They meta-rumbled us.
Exactly.
Charlotte interacted with Grace a lot. I thought that was cool. She gets rid of Piper Niven. She eliminates Meechin. She does some pretty weak-looking chops.
Yeah, they weren't great.
Considered. Then 28 was Julia, the NXT champion.
The lack of pop for Julia. Because I think that Stephanie got a pop when she came out. I think by this point everyone was like, part of the problem is it's not the talent, it's Def Rebel. And their lack of talent. Because they have made everyone's music sound butt-ass.
And the same.
And the same. So no, everyone is waiting to see like what's written on this chart and trying to see who's coming out next. So no one pops for music. It's like, oh, it's Lash Legend.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're an hour in ring time here. Grace is eliminated by Julia. So that made me think maybe Jordan isn't going to the main roster.
No, I think she's going to NXT.
NXT.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a waste.
Well, so's Julia and Stephanie Vaquer going to NXT, but you've got to put them somewhere. You've got to have someone on NXT.
We get a brief team NXT of Julia, Perez, and Vaquer teaming against Belair and Bayley. They didn't really make much of it, though. I thought a lot more could have been done there. 29 is Nia Jax. She eliminates Vega. Trish throws out Candice in this. Nia throws out Trish. And number 30...
Okay, so, sorry to cut you off, but I have to say what happened on the live reactions. So we said... But the last two were out, so there's 29 and 30 left to come out, right? Yeah. And we're like, we know that one of them is Nia Jax. And I said, if it's 29 is Nia Jax, it's someone massive for number 30.
It's Becky.
And that's it. We were like, it's Becky, it's AJ Lee. And we were sort of like running down these list names. The live chat was like going like, And then Nia comes out at 29, and we went into overdrive of just like, well, who is number 30? Then the live chat were just putting out loads of suggestions. We all were there being like, it's Becky or it's AJ. And then when it was Nikki Bella, and they did a pause, and it was like, and beat. You can look, but and I burst out laughing, and he fell out of my chair laughing so much because it felt like a troll.
Yeah.
It felt like a Vince troll. And I don't think it was designed to be that way because she is a star. And she's a star that's very important to a lot of people. And she is a actual legit crossover star, the likes of which people like AJ Lee and Becky Lynch have never been. Becky Lynch...
Oh, I think Becky is.
Not to the degree of Nikki Bella. Nikki Bella is a star of another level.
Yeah, but those people aren't watching this show.
Well, but the idea is to try and get those people to watch this show. That's why you put her in this position. She is a legit crossover star.
Put her at number 23 then.
But she's number 30. She's the big star of this match. So I totally get it. But none of us thought that it just felt like none of us felt that Nikki Bella was that star level. So I just laughed so. It was like when Shane McMahon went best in the world and I busted out. When Goldberg beat The Fiend and you're like, that's the maddest thing I've ever seen. But I totally get it as to why she was. She's on the traitors at the moment. You know, she's a star.
Yeah, underwhelming, most definitely. There were now 12 active participants in the match. They're all ganging up on Nia. And then there's a really good fight between Perez, Io, and Vaquer on the apron. I'm like, oh, this is dramatic. And then loads of people get involved. There's like 8 people on the apron, and Nia pushed them all off.
So I've watched this back a couple of times. It doesn't look like Nia pushes them off. It feels like Nia's late to it, and everyone just slips out and falls to the floor, and then Nia's there. It doesn't feel like Nia does a raw spot and eliminates everyone.
But it's Liv, it's Io, both of whom have been in the match from the very start. It's Naomi, it's Raquel, it's Vaquer. Perez saved herself. I just thought, that's so uninspired.
It's so disappointing.
Like, we didn't eliminate... I forgot we haven't eliminated you guys, and Charlotte needs to win. We can't have Charlotte eliminate them because she'll get booed.
Yep.
And we need to protect Charlotte.
Because she's the babyface. And so because
we insist on making her a babyface.
So Nia can have all the heat by eliminating all of your faves, and now it's Charlotte versus the heel upstart in Roxanne Perez and the heel monster with all the eliminations in Nia Jax. How can she overcome these odds? Again, I think it's a meta rumble.
And then Perez eliminates Julia. Bailey and Nikki are taken out by Nia. There's a few people in there. So we're down to Perez, Nia, and Charlotte as the final 3. Nia's thrown out, and then Charlotte just chucks Perez over. Perez set the longest time for someone in the Women's Royal Rumble, and also was the runner-up. So it makes Perez look great.
Should be destined for a main roster call-up.
But yeah, Charlotte won.
Yeah.
Charlotte won, and I don't think they really set up anything else for anyone in the match.
That's my disappointment. You look at that men's rumble and it felt like eliminations mattered, and eliminations set up characters or set up future matches, set up different possible avenues for WrestleMania. These were just eliminations that happened, and then Charlotte won. And
LOL.
I think the one thing I would say about Charlotte winning is that she has got 2 good options for WrestleMania, because you can do Tiffany Stratton, which I think is a great idea. It puts her on SmackDown, so it keeps her with Andrade. And also, it is like the past versus the future of WWE. Both blonde. It's a really
Blondomania.
It's Blondomania. It's a really good choice. But there's also Rhea Ripley and completing the trilogy. They're one apiece at WrestleMania over title matches. I think that's also a really interesting option. So there is the potential to do some good storytelling on Raw and SmackDown of Charlotte now choosing. I mean, all of her vignettes have been on SmackDown, so she'll choose Tiffany Stratton. But you can do a story of like which contract am I going to sign for WrestleMania, and I think that could lead to some very good in-ring segments. But it is, of all the people, the most uninspiring victor in a rumble of very uninspiring entrants.
Yeah. The tag match was Motor City Machine Guns defending their belts against DIY. It was a 2 out of 3 falls match. That typically means it should go quite long. This was 14 minutes.
This did not get given the time to give it that takeover black and gold vibe. And also this crowd were rumbled out. So they were quiet.
Yeah. So not only have you got not enough time to build the emotion of this 2 out of 3 full stipulation, not only do you have the whole Women's Rumble tiring out the crowd, but people sometimes don't care about the first 2 falls in a 2 out of 3 falls match because they know the template. They know it's going to go one apiece, and then you have the decider. Everything was against them here. They had, they wrestled really well. The first fall was ingenious. You had, I think it was Gargano, went to tag in Ciampa, but actually didn't tag him. So Shelley thought Ciampa was the lead. No, Ciampa thought Gargano was the legal man, but Ciampa still was, and Ciampa got the first fall off of that.
Yeah, I can't remember which way it was, Gargano and Ciampa, but it was a really good spot. And then in the second fall, DIY, knowing their history of 2 out of 3 falls matches, just started doing all the revival spots. So they had like Ciampa crawl underneath the ring to pull Chris Sabin out from a tag.
I didn't pick up on that.
It's the revival spot they did in a DIY match. They hit the Shadow Machine. Like, they were just doing all of Revival's spots from their old to... I actually thought they were going to build to the double submission spot where they're grabbing at each other's hands to stop tapping out.
That's really cool. That's really cool.
Yeah.
This is what's annoying. There is a really good match in here.
Yeah, there is.
They worked it with that sort of level of detail.
Yeah.
And honestly, that first fall is really smart. I've never seen that done before.
Yeah, it's really good.
But yeah, ultimately, the placement on the card, where they're at in the calendar year, this was just a match to build a TV program with the Street Profits.
Disagree. I think this is building too. So Street Profits came out. They interfered. Dawkins clocked one of the most imaging guys, either Shelley or Sabin, with a crutch. Apparently, he was walking with that crutch all day during media to let on that he was still injured, and that's why they're not wrestling at the moment. So he really worked everyone, which I thought was a lovely little touch. So they attack them. DIY get the win. So it's a tainted victory. And then they attack DIY after the match as well and pose with the belts. I think we're getting a TLC match. A 3-way TLC match at WrestleMania.
I'd love it. We say it every year. This is all forgiven if that's the case. But yeah, nice to see Street Profits back. But DIY retained. And even if Sorry, did I say Guns were defending earlier? I meant DIY.
But even then, even if you just do a 3-way ladder match, it's 25 years since you did the one at WrestleMania 2000, you know, with which was the precursor to TLC.
And the final match we'll talk about is this was the start of this really good second half of the Royal Rumble. It's Cody Rhodes versus Kevin Owens in a ladder match.
Oh, this was so good.
And this was great. It's got all of the emotion and drama and intensity of this sort of 4-month build. They had the match at Saturday night's main event, which was good. But this was like the stip, really tough match afterwards.
And it was after the crowd were kind of burnt out by that Rumble and the Flair wins lol. So was silence during that tag match. They were so into Cody and Kevin Owens.
Yeah.
Here is the pure magic of this match, and why I think that, again, I give enormous credit to WWE and their creative and the storytelling they have done for these characters to get to us to this point, is that going into this match, they had laid out the story. This match is not ending until Sami Zayn appears, because Sami Zayn is going to be a pivotal part of this match. No matter how many people are climbing up the ladder, this match is not going to come to its final third until Sami Zayn appears. But at no point with this crowd looking up the ramp, looking for Sami Zayn, just waiting for Sami to come out. They were just so into these two characters and their war over these titles and the WWE Championship that when Sami came out, I was like, oh, and Sami's here as well.
Yeah,
I think that is a testament to how good they have done with this.
Yeah. They brawled through the arena floor. The first thing they did was Cody walked under a ladder in his entrance. Yeah. Jesus.
Sorry.
That is mind games right there.
Tell you what, the other thing from the entrance is, do you remember what Punk said on Raw when he was sort of about, like, I was champ for 434 days? It was around day 300 where all of it started to come crash down on me. Saturday was day 300 of his title reign. It came up on the graphic. No. It's day 300. Oh. And I was like, that's a beautiful detail.
Yeah, what a lovely bit of data that you've taken advantage of there. So they brawl around the arena floor. You've got loads of little ladder spots, and literally little ladder spots at one point. They had a little tiny baby ladder.
Yeah, what production was putting that under the ladder? Are they trolling?
They get a little ladder rung. They use that as a baton for a bit. And then there was the sort of like really hellacious bumps period.
Oof,
There's loads of ladders in the ring. There's like 3 or 4 ladders. And Cody flips Owens over his head onto a ladder that's on its side, which looks awful.
It's even more painful than it looks.
Then Owens powerbombed Cody onto a ladder in the corner. Then, what is it? It was like a sort of swinging suplex off the bottom rope from Owens onto Cody.
It's Fishman's.
Yeah. Through a ladder bridge. And that was played up like it was a big injury angle. Officials ran down. That's where Sami Zayn comes in. And he's checking on both Cody and Owens.
Yeah.
Really good character work there. Then Cody hits a crossroads on Owens. KO blades off the commentary table outside. Feels like Cody has snapped. Like he's snapping at this point, which really effectively plays off the Raw go home angle. And then Owens low blows him, and he goes to do a package pile driver off the announce desk through a ladder bridge. This could kill Cody in kayfabe. And Cody has to answer back in a bigger way. And he hits Bob Holly an Alabama slam through the ladder bridge.
It was gnarly, man. It was a gnarly bump.
And Owens landed with his head through the rungs, and he just crumpled, folded up, and it looked like he no longer had a head.
Yeah. Every ounce of his soul left his body.
Cody ran up the ladder. Well, not ran, but he got the belt. He wins the match. And Sami never really factors in. He's just checking on Owens. He's focused on Owens. And it kind of made Cody look a bit inconsiderate.
Well, that's what I loved about this finish so much. So I loved this match. I thought this match was
really good.
So great. And it's not just the 3 gnarly bumps or the 4 gnarly ladder bumps that they did. I think actually the psychology between the two and the work they did, the storytelling they did in the match, I thought was so great. But as an actual finish, one of the things I really liked about this was, so Owens is down on the floor and Sami Zayn is checking on him and Cody is slowly walking up the ladder. But they're doing it as a wide shot that has just Cody on the left-hand side of the screen and you can see Sami. So we were there, like, Tempest was like, Sami's going to get in the ring. That's why they framed it that way, to make you constantly wait for Sami to get up and do the interference spot. Sami never did anything. So Sami did nothing wrong. Like, he was just there to check on his friend and to check on his other friend in Cody Rhodes. But in a Kevin Owens mind, you had so much time to get up there and stop him winning that title, and you chose not to do it. You chose him over me. Even though he didn't. He was just, but in a Kevin Owens mind, that is a justifiable way to look at this situation.
That is one way they could take this. And I think it's the most likely way. And that's how you get Owens and Sami Zayn at Mania, probably. But also, and it also means you don't have to turn Sami heel. But also, that the final shot, so Cody's won, he gets both belts, he's walking away, and then he almost sees Owens on the floor, comes back round the ring, stands on the announce table, and celebrates over Owens's sort of carcass, blooded carcass. And you're like, well, actually, fair play. Owens has trying to kill you for 4 months now. But something about it just felt like, well,
it did.
Cody's being a bit Homelander here.
That's exactly it. And if you're Sami...
Sami's there tending to Owens that Cody just killed. And he's looking up at Cody and thinking, oh, geez. I thought this guy was a good guy. Well, Cody, maybe Sami turns on Cody because of this.
Well, Cody's like saying words to the effect of, this was his choice. Like, your boy did this. Like, this is not me. This is all on him. Like, these are the consequences of his actions. But if you're Sami Zayn, you're absolutely right. You could look at that and be like, what happened to this guy? And again, it ties into that Punk promo from Raw, where Punk was saying, like, it's around day 300, you lose all of your friends. And now maybe he's lost that friend in Sami Zayn as well. The last friend he might have had that isn't CM Punk. I thought this was exceptional. And it's made me so excited to see the next chapter of this story. Because I wonder if at Chamber, it's Sami versus Cody for the WWE Championship.
Mm-hmm.
And you play off again.
Yeah.
It's in Canada again. You play off Chamber from a couple of years back.
Wow. Yeah. Well, an absolutely excellent show. Please have your vote. Have we got a final one on yeet or no yeet?
I will close this poll. And it is really 70-30. It is 70% thumbs up, 30% thumbs down.
Cool.
So no yeet and yeet.
Final call for the chat gables. We'll go through all your remaining chats, and then we will have the paper ball shootout for the Jam That Championship. John Nopick using his moderator chat. Thank you for being a mod, John. Hello, gents. This was my little guy's first Royal Rumble experience. He's 5, and he had an absolute blast. The oohs and ahs during all the amazing spots and movements, I definitely have him hooked. Well done. That's good parenting. At the end, when Jey Uso won, he and I both jumped up screaming. Truly a bonding moment. He even asked when we could go to an event together in person. Lifelong fan made last night. Couldn't be prouder. Pro wrestling rules. That's lovely,
That's
John.
lovely.
EJO says, "G'day, WrestleTalk. I watched the Rumble twice today and noticed when Jey entered the Rumble, the stats chyron flashed up the entrant numbers that have never won the Rumble, including Jey's at number 20. Subtle foreshadowing, perhaps? Surprised by and loved the result."
Could be.
Demon Arc 117. Hey lads, been a minute. I've been taking a break from wrestling and wrestling content, but I came back for the Rumble. Overall good show. Men's Rumble and Cody Owens were the best on the night. Also, this show proved one thing. Def Rebel FXXXing sucks. Very good use of Finn Balor's name. El Reviewer Random. Sorry guys, but I gotta disagree with you. I totally disliked the omnipresent graphics. Too much. My first Rumble was 2000. I was 14, and I never needed that for dummies stuff to feel engaged. This was the brain rot Rumble.
Wow. I like it. I thought it was. I gave it a true sports presentation.
Yeah, I enhanced it for me. Cameron P1. Genuinely love this Rumble event. As an eternal optimist, this was a really, really good show. Killer tag match, ladder match was tremendous, and the men's Rumble was so surprising I couldn't control my emotions basically the entire time. E. Diaz. How optimistic should we be for Jey's performance coming up at WrestleMania when last time his match with Jimmy was voted as one of the worst of 2024? I believe in Yeet, but I do think maybe expanding his moveset could be beneficial. Oh no, sorry, Punk.
Well, it doesn't matter. Punk still may get his WrestleMania main event because Jey vs. Gunther will not be a main event of WrestleMania. I would put money on it is not going to close night 1 or night 2 of WrestleMania.
How much money?
Well, you used to loan me that 10 quid, so do you want to go for that 10 quid double or nothing? No way! No! Could it be?
No. This is my £20 note.
Okay.
This is my £20 note that I'm going to use to buy a couple more shots, maybe, in our shootout later. I'll just drape it here. Oh, 20 English pounds in physical cash.
I do have some tradesmen coming around soon that I will need to pay.
Yeah, they want to be paid cash in hand.
They certainly do.
They don't want any of it to go to Mr. Starmer.
Rachel from accounts. I was gonna shake your hand. We'll do double or nothing for WrestleMania. Jey versus Gunther is not one of the WrestleMania main events.
I'll take that. Cameron P1 writes, all that being said about me being an optimist, even I have to say that the women's tumble was not very good, especially the last few entrants, and the winner just made me feel the same way when Charlotte beat Rhea all those years ago in 2020. Dread.
I also like that he also corrected to tumble.
Yes. Virgil Namondo says, the concern I've been hearing with Jey's win is that he hasn't had a memorable singles match since the early Bloodline program versus Roman.
I disagree with that. The Breaker match for the IC title.
And the Gunther match was really good last week.
Yeah.
Ryan, I think we will get a KO Sammy match at Mania. Jey eliminating Sammy can be thrown in Sammy's face. KO looked emotionally hurt while looking at Sammy after his match, like, why didn't you help me? Revolver.
I don't think Kevin was looking at much of anything at the end of that match.
Revolver. I get it why, but I just don't have faith this leads to anything long term. We've already been bitten before with Jey's IC run. Like, genuinely, tell me Jey versus Gunther closes night 1 over everything else. Really feel like this is done for a stat, like his title run.
I disagree. This is done for the stat. This is done for the pop. This is done for Yeatlemania, and that makes a lot of sense to me. And like, if this was your long-term direction, which probably was not when you did the Breaker thing, I would not have had that IC title win, because I think it actually undermined this episode slightly, because that was like, he's never won a singles title, and then he did for 2 weeks. I think it would have been so bad if he still hadn't won a singles title at this point.
Cameron P won again, and Jey winning was a great surprise. And you know what? I know he isn't the most crisp in ring guy, but damn it, I'm so happy and excited that he won. A new guy winning, and he's the only guy out of any of the people who wanted to win the World Heavyweight Championship. So I'm hyped. Yeah,
I mean, honestly, it does actually elevate that belt somewhat.
Yeah, it does. Demon Arc 117 again. You mentioned Nakamura being the last shock winner. Think about who he eliminated last to win. Roman. But who did he also eliminate right before that? That's right, Cena. Cena has been part of the best 2 Rumble finishes in the last decade.
Do you know what someone pointed out about Cena that made me even more like, I'm so sure he's winning this Rumble? They said if he wins this Rumble, he'd have won 3 Rumbles in 3 different decades.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's such a stat that they would do to establish him as the greatest of all time.
Julio Mendoza, Jey Uso, yeet. Yeet, man. I'm not going to lie, I'm very salty, but I just need to be open with this and just trust in the people. But overall, good PLE. Honestly thought Rox was going to win as the surprise because I was so sure Cena was going to win, but good stuff, love.
Loved it.
El Reviewer Random. So Jey gives one of the worst Mania matches, and now he gets the Rumble win because yeet? I'm all for new wrestlers winning, but not someone who's so bad. Also, that was a comedy elimination. I'm done with Triple H's booking, and everyone's celebrating it.
I'm going back to Ben's chat at the start. When you're over, you're over. And it's what we always used to say about the Young Bucks, is that there are a lot of people who do not like Young Bucks matches, but you cannot deny how over they are when they do them live, because the crowd are always so into those Young Bucks spots, right? They are over. So it may not be to your personal taste, but over is over.
It's not a comedy elimination. It was an intended anticlimactic elimination. Clint8813, do you think future Rumbles should move to 40 entrants? No. The roster is pretty stacked now with NXT and TNA being involved. Bring NXT into the fold where if they win the NXT title scene gets a Mania match, it would make it even more unpredictable.
No thanks.
No, I think that dilutes it. Yeah. If anything, have an NXT TNA prohibitive portal Rumble in August
to get a shot.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, to get the winner gets an entry into the. You do
just their own thing. They get a title match at, I don't know, Vengeance Day.
Look, we have had a 40-man Rumble before. I think we can just look at that, and history has shown us it's not a good idea. It was even worse when they did it with 50. Yeah. So like 30 is a good number for a Rumble.
Emmett Bryan. Jey's win shows us that WWE doesn't care about in-ring quality and just cares about theme songs or stupid catchphrases being over. They don't care about theme songs. Ask Finn Balor.
I was going to say, is that your takeaway from this Rumble, that theme songs are important?
Clint8813, Cena should heel turn in a sense where he breaks because he can't win his 17th title and keeps coming up short. It would feed families. People would cheer him no matter what. It won't work.
That's why they said you can't do a heel turn, because he'll get cheered regardless.
Marty Arias. It was a fun Rumble, but not the best. A shame as it had the potential to be the greatest. I like Jey and the story, but his matches are really boring. It is baffling that the guy with the worst match last year will now main event WrestleMania. Seems to be a common thing of people not liking the Rumble, but mostly just because of the winner.
Exactly.
Anonymous. Hi guys, I really like the show as a whole, especially the ladder match and the men's Rumble. Fun fact, during Roxanne Perez's entrance, they put an incorrect statistic on the screen, which said it was her second Rumble when it was actually her third.
I thought that sounded wrong, because I was like, this is only her second Rumble. I feel like she's been in loads of them.
I trusted you, new graphics bar. Can I hot tag to you?
You sure can do. Ultras here says, I watched Royal Rumble. Good. First the women. Very nice. Yes. Alexa, her music, her entrance, her Alexa Bliss, Chalet. No, it's winning. Not surprised. Tag team. Okay. The ladders. Kay Owen has died to death by Cody. Men's. I looked. I did not saw Jey coming.
You said her Alexa Bliss, Chalet.
Yeah.
I think that's her Alexa Bliss. And then Charlotte. But I think Charlotte's been...
Yes, I agree. Also, didn't mention it earlier, but Alexa Bliss had a very nice jacket.
Yes.
The camera kind of missed it a little bit because they cut some crowd shots, but it said "Friend Forever." but like the R was smaller, so it was looked like Fiend forever. Very nice. Roach Senpai here said, "Is anyone actually surprised that Charlotte won?" No.
We all thought
that Charlotte was winning. Been out for a year and made her way to a Mania main event. Whoop-de-doo-dah. Happy Jey won, though. Perhaps a pure surprise. Great show, but Charlotte winning is a huge meh. Should have given it to someone else deserving. Chris here said, with Jey going for the world title, what do you think the rest of the card for Mania will be? If they are doing a triple threat match, Punk, Roman, and Seth, not a fan, as Seth is only there to eat the pin. I'm not into the idea of doing a triple threat. Some people were pitching like a 4-way with Drew. And if you're doing Punk and Roman, you do Punk versus Roman.
Yeah, I really don't know.
I think it's Punk and Roman, and I think it's Cena Cody. I think Cena wins the Elimination Chamber, and then it's Cena Cody, main event of night 2, and Cena doesn't win. Real Double J here said, Luke's Jey bathroom vision is awfully similar to David Lynching the Red Room from leaning on his car in the sun. Maybe if Ollie practices transcendental meditation, he could have manifested David Arquette as entrant number 31. I love you, my tribal paper chief.
Thank you, Real Double J. I love you too, because you know all the Lynch stuff. I have his book on transcendental meditation.
Rampage says, Maxine Dupree's brief spot was one of my favorite things in the entire show, much deserved. Will Campbell said, hey guys, I was cringing and screaming with every nasty bump KO and Cody took in that ladder match, and then when the Alabama Slam came, my jaw dropped. The match ruled, and to be honest, I'm glad that Cody retained. Also, Alexa's jacket's red. Fiend forever. Gerard said, was at the show and it was a great time. Jey winning was a shock, but so fun. Chelsea felt like the biggest star in the Women's Rumble. Anytime someone would attack Io, our section would say, leave Io alone. Wish she had won instead. Fun show overall. Kuzu here said, I didn't think Jey winning would be this controversial, but the dislike bar exceeds the likes. I personally have no problem with it, even though I understand why. It is weird given Jey just lost a world title match last week, but he is undeniable. Well, you say that it was the other way around, but in our poll, I'm just going to read, it was Yeet is 70%. Like that is, people are more into the, going by our live viewership here, you know, it's 2,000 votes. There was more people into this than people against it. The chats, though, I'd say are a little bit more mixed.
Yeah, because they're louder. Yeah. Right, that is the Rumble portion of the show, but now we can get to the actual main event that everyone's been waiting for, because I am the paper champion, set to become the full champion. Podcast listeners, this is going to be quite an unrewarding experience. We will do our best to commentate through the action.
Yes, I'll get my phone and I will see if I can do an Instagram live.
So, there is a paper ball. I am the paper master. Luke has accepted my challenge for his championship of a paper ball shootout. Here is the basket. It's on a slight slope. Otherwise, it was impossible for us to get it in. We tested this earlier. And Luke actually got it in off the rim.
I did.
It was a fantastic shot.
I rimmed it in really good.
So we're going to do one after the other. First off, it's best of 5. So just like a normal penalty shootout in a football match.
I'm going to do it there because we'll do commentary from that position.
Yeah.
So if you do want to see the other angle for this, I will be live on Instagram at thisisluke.owen.
Okay, so yeah, you can commentate.
Oops. I've just knocked my phone over. All right. Okay. So we are live here on WrestleTalk, and we are live on Instagram as well, as Ollie is set to take his first shot here for the Jam That Championship. He is taking his shot, and it is, oh, it's good. It is good. It's just, he rimmed it.
I don't think I even rimmed it, did I? I got the rim. So this is Luke. He's probably about, 40 feet away? What do you say?
In JR terms.
40 feet away. Probably about 3 meters. Oh!
The championship nearly helped me. All right. Ollie's about to take his second shot here. And it's over. Oh, it's appalling. It's appalling. He didn't even make the desk. He was so far away.
So it's currently 0-0. But Luke is on his second try here.
Oh, I've got the distance just ever so slightly wrong. Still 0-0. but it's close. It's close. I can feel it. I feel like I'm nearly there with it. I feel like I'm starting to get it. All right, here we go. Here's Ollie for his third try. Oh, he's not pleased about it. He did not have a happy look on his face as he walked back to the desk there.
I hit the left corner of the basket. Luke's going for his third attempt, 3rd of 5. Oh, and it just hit the base of the desk in front of the basket.
Disappointing. So Ollie sets up for his 4th shot. It's very crucial. He may need to do better here because he's doing quite poor so far. He's hit the light.
I'm actually getting agitated. We're 4 in. If there's no scores in these 5, Luke's going for his 4th shot. He really needs to get this in. Oh, and it was a centimetre to the right. Otherwise, that would have been in.
I would have been in. That was close. That was really good. All right, here we go. This is Ollie's 5th and possibly final shot. Oh, and he's rimmed it. That's got to be disappointing.
Okay, for the match. If Luke gets this in.
Are we saying if I get this
if this goes in, you've won.
But if I miss?
It goes to sudden death. It could be here for a while. Luke is doing an underarm approach. Up and over.
Oh, yeah! Oh, yes! Yes! What a shot! Yes! The championship helped me! And still, you're Jam That Champion! Oh! Wabadoo! The Jamp is here! Forever your champion! Incredible scenes!
For audio listeners, Luke totally missed the basket. The paper ball struck the front of the championship behind it, and it bounced into the basket.
That was just... Good match. Good effort. I believe this is yours, right?
Oh, I feel like Jey Uso losing at Saturday night's main event, but I'm going to come for you. I'm going to come for you at pay-per-view. All right, well, thank you very much, everyone. Oh, has there been any more chats?
There have been some more chats going on. No, there have been no more chats. We're all good.
Well, we'll see you in a couple of days for the Raw review, but please do subscribe here.
I'll just quickly end the poll so people thought of the show. 70% thumbs up, 22% in the middle.
Yeah, it was a really good show. Really enjoyed it. Go over now and watch our WrestleMania 27 review as part of our Rock vs. John Cena series. It's 4 hours long, as if you haven't had enough wrestling content from us already today. But for now, I've been Ollie Davis. It's been Luke Owen, DAD, Jam That Jam. Jam That Jam.
Jam That Jam.